Welcome back, everybody, to the Intel Extreme Masters live from Taipei. We are here at the Taipei Game Show at the Taipei World Trade Center. Hope you've enjoyed your morning or evening so far. We've got a couple of good games left to come, and the second semi-final is, of course, first before the grand finals, and it's time for the rematch of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship from 2014. A big game coming up. Joining me on the desk, of course, is the three guys that were here earlier this morning. Is Pig, Todd, and Claris. A good start to the day. Some very high-skilled StarCraft 2 to start things off, James.
Yeah, some really cool stuff. Driving Soki crazy, poor guy, and with having to deal with all of that aggression, but Beyond never let up. So it's really nice to see like a Terran really drive home that kind of aggression and not slip up back home as well. Always having more and more coming to annoy Soki.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to see Beyond make it to the finals, and we saw that emotion. You talked about it in the cast, and he's very happy to be there.
Oh yeah, I mean it's something everyone's been looking forward to seeing Beyond play, and I think I was one of the few cynics. I was kind of like coming into this tournament, I'm like, is he just gonna get here and just like, he's just gonna be like nervous on the stage, he's gonna fall apart, and he's delivered so far. A 3-0, now a 3-1, going into the finals, and you can see on his face the elation. He's kind of building up that momentum, so I think whoever goes up against him in the finals, they got a really hard shot.
And he's got a full backing of the community as well. We're happy to see him play. But Todd, you're a Protoss player. We know that, and we have a PvP coming up.
Yeah.
And it is a very high-level PvP coming, of course, the rematch of the World Championship back in 2014. Whew.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, these two have history, but now it's Legacy of the Void. You start with a lot more probes than you used to, and proxy is not going to be nearly as easy. Then again, it's SOS, like if there are crazy builds to be used in there, he's going to be the one to try and use some of these, on maps like Dusk Towers, Orbital Shipyards, you can wall off your ramp, and then your opponent's not going to know whether you're going Stargate or DTs, which for both of these tech, it's very different on how you counter it. And we already saw this kind of build early in the tournament when SOS played against MC and he won 3-0, he used some DTs that surprised MC, did a lot of damage, forced him to all in, which then was held. So herO is going to have to be on his A game here. He's going to have to scout a lot. He's going to have to try and realize what's happening, because if he's not able to do that, he's going up against a guy who I feel like we should qualify of mathematician/mad scientist. He does his calculations before his matches, and it seems like he almost always gets it right. I was watching him earlier, actually, over there in the warm-up area, and he was just watching VODs, and sometimes he will pause and think. He was watching, I think it was like Deer against somebody in a Korean league, and he would just pause sometimes and think for a little bit. He'd be like, he's like, that's pretty good.
But it could be this, and this.
Pylon plus Dark Shrine equals 15 dead probes, and like we'll do that, and then he would resume the replay and be like, I mean, these guys are pretty bad, but maybe I can improve this build myself and use it later better.
And
so
that's the exciting thing about SOS, and hopefully this PvP series as well, that it is going to be chaotic, it is going to be entertaining. But I think if we take a step back and look at both of the players, they haven't had the best of start in Legacy of the Void. If you think back to how well they performed in Heart of the Storm, of course SOS, the reigning world champion. In Legacy of the Void, though, they've tripped up a couple of times in some of the tournaments in Korea already.
Especially in PvP. You look at both players and they've had a really hard time. herO had 2 recent losses in PvP, and even though there were 1-2 losses, some of the mistakes he was making in those games, he did not look confident. And there's a difference between losing a game where things don't quite work out in terms of your build order and how the strategies go, but he really looked like he was lacking confidence in the matchup. So some of those matches were only about a week, 2 weeks ago. He's going to have to really kind of improve that confidence from there. And SOS also had quite a one-sided defeat, 1-3 to Deer himself just not long ago.
You have a good point, but keep in mind, though, this is the Intel Extreme Masters, not some minor tournament, boys.
Like not some minor Star League,
And I think also in Korea, like a lot with the restart of StarCraft 2, it being going from Heart of the Storm to Legacy of the Void, a lot of the Koreans that weren't necessarily getting the top results in the previous iteration of the game are now really, really hungry to actually take those top spots. So they've been working their absolute asses off to try and actually get those wins, and they've been able to topple people like herO and SOS.
And in Protoss versus it's kind of a silly way to open this statement up, but in StarCraft 2 then, is a better way to say this, in a best of 5, you can obviously study for your opponent, and with having a lot of PvP games being played recently, both of them now can approach this. They've obviously had 24 hours knowing who they're going up against, or maybe, more than that if they thought they were going to win the tournament. They said, okay, let me look at the bracket, I'm going to beat you, then I'm going to probably play you. What type of preparation could we be seeing here from both of these players? I mean, herO's known for that, likewise SOS.
Yeah, there is just so much to take in consideration. Not just the history between these two, the fact that they've played a lot in another expansion in the past, but also the recent histories against different opponents in the matchup, where we had SOS yesterday take on MC, beat him 3-0. He showed some of his builds, and usually when SOS plays in a tournament like this, or like any player, you look at his series and you're like, okay, well, I guess he was just one of those series where everything went right for him. But SOS is at tournaments, like for example, the MSI's Master Gaming Arena last year, where every single one of his series was like a Cinderella story of like great things happening to him. Everything was going his way no matter what he was doing. He was beating Innovation 2-0, 3-0 Solar later, like he was just unstoppable. So herO here, he's basically gonna have to maybe like roll the dice here and there, and at the same time try to play decently, like or pretty solid, and hope to not get unfortunate in certain spots, because there is no way in PvP that you can see everything, that you can scout everything, so sometimes you have to take risks. But he's going to need to try and minimize them, but not that much that if he gets it wrong, he's in a really bad position, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to follow you, actually. The rolling dice, to taking risks, to keeping that at a minimal. But he's going up against SOS. Doesn't that complicate things, though? I mean, if you look at a normal Protoss, maybe that is the correct approach, but SOS is such a different player.
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like maybe less so in Legacy of the Void, even though, like I said, we've seen builds, you know, like some proxies, or even like just the fact that you can wall off your ramp and that your opponent won't be able to know in any way what you're doing is just so crazy. Like, if I had to play SOS and like he did this every single game, I would just be like, okay, I guess like I forfeit. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's so difficult to properly counter like everything if you don't know what your opponent's doing. So, and SOS knows how to use that to his strength. So that's what could make it very difficult for herO. The maps are going to be very important, clearly, here.
Yeah, like 4-player maps, 2-player maps.
Yeah.
Starting.
I mentioned Dust Towers and Orbital Shipyards being two maps that can be very tricky, because like you got an easy expansion that you can take, and you can wall off the ramp and then hide your tech. And then you have a very small/aggressive map in Arena, where you can 3-pylon rush. If your opponent does anything a little bit different than the standard double gate stalker. So again, like lots of possibilities here. And
of course, here is SOS, who's just now got into the booth on stage and is ready to play, or just about ready to play. But he took a win, a seemingly easy win against MC, 3-0. But surely that's also a bit of a weakness, having played MC, shown PvP, shown what he's capable of.
Yeah, seeing what you see when you actually have that is a bit annoying here for him. But again, going up against herO, I almost always give SOS the mental edge when it comes to playing against herO. He has beaten him in high-octane, pressured situations. And if my money's anything to bet on, I think he'll probably end up doing it again. This is going to be difficult for herO, I think.
There is actually many ways to look at this. You know, you could be like, oh yeah, he played MC, he's already revealed how he plays against Protoss, but he 3-0'd MC. That's impressive in itself. And like the haters out there are probably like, yeah, you know, MC is a streamer now. No. Like, shut up. In the words of Auto, shut up. Don't even go there. Like, MC is a fantastic player. He made top 16 Grandmaster recently. That was a huge already series out of SOS.
All right, final thoughts then, boys. Predictions, and then I want to get someone out of Pig, because he has been a little bit quiet over here. Clarice, let's start with you, though. Predictions?
As much as I love herO, I think SOS just always has his number, and I think 3-1 once again to SOS.
Johan Merlot.
I saw the look on herO's face after he lost in a $100,000 Grand Finals. Winner takes all, and I'm pretty sure he wants this revenge more badly than probably anything right now. So I think he has the desire here to win. He's going to win it 3-2.
Okay, and Pig, prediction and final thoughts here.
Yeah, I think we've got 3-1 for SOS, actually. I think there's just that mental edge, and you can see herO on screen. He's trying to actually gather his thoughts, gather his focus, because he knows he's going to need every little bit. And SOS historically has always thrived in the messy situations. You're sure you can go into the game with an opening, but once you get there, herO's the player who isn't quite as decisive as SOS when it comes to figuring out what's the next weird step to throw my opponent off. So I think herO's really got to go in here, and he's got to find a way to thrive in the chaos and to stay confident.
All right, thank you very much, Pig. It's time to head over to the commentary team for this one. It's none other than Todd and Caloris.
Because who else would it be here for a PvP as we have two worlds collide not only on the caster's desk but also in-game. herO versus SOS. Orbital Shipyard will be our first map to start things off, and this is going to be a rip-roaring adventure, Todd, because one of these is going on to the grand final.
Absolutely. I talked a little bit about how this map can be tricky if SOS in particular
were to try and go for some sort of wall of try and hide his tech as much as he can. herO, though, how is he going to approach this? Does he try and play something a little bit riskier, which maybe will be unexpected by SOS, or does he try to still play his usual safer style where he's the one scouting, trying to realize what he's up against and then counter it properly? Well, I guess we'll find out here in a second. And getting the momentum going as well in PvP is going to be very important here.
Yep.
Opening with a map win in this kind of series can decide a lot.
I mean, a lot of PvP before revolved around the idea of the Blink Stalkers and Disruptors being case, but we see a lot of Stargate openers now really kind of in the mix and causing a lot of hecticness in the start.
I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because it really feels like if a PvP is a slow one, so usually like worse players than the world's absolute best, you're gonna see Disruptors in action a lot of the time, because like you need to get those, you know, from a certain point in the game. When you're on 3 bases, when you already have Blink and stuff, if nothing's happening, you need to add Disruptors, because if you don't, you're not gonna be able to win the fight ever. And a lot of the time, to win in StarCraft, you need to actually win the fight against the opponent's army. But players have gotten so good these days, and everybody plays so aggressive, that we see less and less Disruptors. We see a lot of Blink Stalkers, some Immortals, some attacks. The thing is, though, on a map like this, it's actually very hard to properly go across the map and do crippling damage or succeed with any big attacks. But I guess these guys are just so good with their Blink Stalkers and all of this that we could definitely see some very action-packed game. The series is definitely going to be longer than the one that they played in the World Championship in Katowice, though. I can promise you that.
Yeah, just a little bit, one would suspect here, as that was all about them proxies. Not as easy to get away with something like that here now in Legacy of the Void. But I mean, even still, can't there can be like Dark Shrine and Twilight Council proxies onto the middle of the map to try and catch someone off guard early on, I suppose.
There is a chance SOS maybe does like a crazy proxy with like a couple gateways, but I feel like it's unlikely. It's really not that great. It's been figured out for the most part. Same as for a Cannon Rush. In Cannon Rush, we don't really see almost ever. Maybe on the arena, but nowadays I feel like everybody except me knows how to counter. So it probably would be a bad idea to go for something like this against somebody like herO if SOS wanted to try it. But then again, it's SOS we're talking about. Even remember his PvZ in Heart of the Swarm. He would literally know all the absolute best places on every single map on where to cannon rush.
Yeah.
So maybe in PvP here he can find a few spots where he can do something like that. But like I said, it's very tricky to get any of those to work here.
Okay, well it seems that we have had a drop into this first game, so we're going to have to get this rehosted by the looks of things. As Mr. ESL OBS 3, whoever you are, as unfortunately like that these last two. Get it together, man. What's going on?
I thought it was me for a second.
No, not you. Not you by the looks of things. I'm not even sure why I am on this one. I guess I'm number 2. But yeah, we'll be getting back into this in just a moment. But we've spoken about it. We know that these guys have a lot of history against one another. For me, I always pick SOS going into it. I just can't get away from the idea that he has such a good position against his opponent in herO. And I liked the point that, you know, Sean made at the desk. They haven't had the most amazing of starts here to their Legacy of the Void kind of resurgence once that game changes from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy.
I really wonder, actually, in terms of build orders here, what SOS has decided to pick. Because like his approach to the matchup, you know, we've kind of narrowed it down to he's like this crazy guy who does his mathematics, his calculations, and then decides the build that he thinks is going to give him the biggest edge. But like I said, like it's very easy to get it wrong. And if you get it wrong even just one single time, you can lose momentum, let your opponent gain the confidence he needs to start playing better. And then from there, it only goes downhill. And you can't let somebody like herO, you know, gain momentum in a series like this. So SOS, his calculations here, they're going to have to be correct, man.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be very, very important between these two. I think overall, depending on who goes forward, I really can't attribute to who would even do better against Bjorn. I mean, both of them have got, you know, really good chances, of course. They're very, very strong powerhouse Protosses, but Bjorn is like in this weird world where, I mean, I saw him at the desk and he looked pretty darn confident and kind of relaxed almost when you guys were talking to him.
Yeah. It's almost as if, you know, he's been waiting for this for a long time. And now that it's here, he's like not even surprised. You know, he's worked very hard for this, which, you know, for a lot of programmers, it makes a lot of sense. But he would go up against one in this case, of the absolute best Protoss in the world, in the history of StarCraft 2, in either SOS or herO. That'd be a pretty big task to take on.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we are maybe just waiting for one more observer, but it looks like we are good to go. Without OBS3 causing enough problems, OBS3, you have been demoted here as we now get into our first game on Orbital Shipyard. And SOS and herO now loading up and getting good to go. You predicted, who did you predict to?
herO.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah, we're at odds. We're at odds, my friend. I have to go with SOS. Let's get into it. First game in this best of 5 in this second semi-final of the day to see who moves on to the grand final between herO and SOS. They face off against one another again. And to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing CJ Entus. It is, of course, herO. 3 times Intel Extreme Masters champion, looking to repeat here once again. And then up to the top right, we have our blue Protoss representing Jin Air Green Wings. It is SOS.
I'm so excited, man. This is their first encounter in Legacy of the Void, actually. They've met 8 times in the past. 4 of those times were last year in 2015, and actually back then, it was SOS that won 3 out of those 4 times. So, cannot wait to see here if herO can finally try to even the score here a little bit more, because it's man, that $100,000 final, I'm pretty sure he still has it on his mind.
Yeah, I mean, despite them like having those win ratios against one another or whatever, I think that one's the one that stings the most out of everything. That
and
one,
actually,
painful.
even build otherwise, herO right now is the one going for the wall-off. I predicted it would be SOS that would go for something like this, but nope. herO wants to try and get one of those himself here, and almost as if SOS knew, he sneaked a probe in before he was sealed off.
Yeah,
So he scouted early enough to make sure he was going to be in there. And SOS being the guy who usually plays with this kind of build quite a bit himself, right now he must be so happy. He's on cloud 9, man. He's like, well, I've used this tie so many times myself. I know exactly what I need to look out for right now, and I'm in just great position.
For sure, and this probe, you know, it's funny because it might actually get through these shields and do a small little bit of damage to that pylon. We'll see in a moment, because there's not anything being built just yet. He'll get his mothership core on the way very soon, along with an adept. The adept's normally going to be sent out the front, but actually he's rallied it round to the back, and the probe has abandoned that location, and even thrown down a pylon to block.
This is great. Like, I think he realized there was going to be a quick nexus here from herO. So, and also like this forces the adepts to either go inside of the main of herO and be trapped there, or be sent outside. Like, look at the gateway. If he sends that outside, then the adept won't be killing the pylon. If he sends it inside, he's trapped inside. So already SOS. He's on point.
Whoa! Uh-oh! Triple pylon herO in the main base.
Yeah, this is not going to do anything, I think. SOS is going to have his own overcharges. I'm not sure why he's not overcharging here just yet. Maybe he's afraid that herO would just cancel and remake the pylons elsewhere. Actually, herO,
oh my god,
that. He's making more and more pylons. SOS is going to have to use the overcharge really soon here, because the adept is almost there as well.
Yep, there are 3 more pylons SOS placed down while all of these were being added on, just so that he can get that defense going if he needs to. The mothership core is still not there though, and this was quite the investment for herO. Because his Nexus was blocked back home, I mean, what else was he going to do with the minerals? It didn't have units to kill it, so he couldn't expand.
SOS not overcharging yet. He's going to do that now. herO able to get one of those off. He's going to go for the probes, and he gets quite a few already.
Oh my god, 5 have already gone down. Actually denying a lot of mining time as well there. If we pull that up for a moment. See herO kind of moving forwards with that, and he has 1 probe slowly working away at the pylon at the back.
That was well worth it here. 24 probes for herO, 21 for SOS. Is he going to let that finish? No. Just going to cancel the shade. And that pylon on the natural, man, it's like taking forever to eventually remove this here.
The Adept's going to send their Psionic Transference Shades in towards the main base, away from those Stalkers, and they will actually go in there, but they walk straight into the Oracle as well as the Mothership Core there with the Photon Overcharge.
herO is in the driver's seat here. And the great thing about this too is that, like, with these leads, he's going to be playing very aggressive. He's getting a gateway across the map to be able to warp in very quickly. He's on Stargate tech, he's getting Phoenixes, and that Oracle of SOS, I'm really worried for it. If it flies into a Phoenix, and he's going to do just that as well.
Oh dear, he needs the Stalkers to actually help it out.
Stalkers of SOS, of herO, sorry, are actually trapped outside of his base here, but I don't think it's the end of the world, because he's getting Phoenixes behind and being ahead in Phoenix versus Phoenix is going to be great here for him.
Two Stalkers versus the Oracle there in terms of trade. And then picking up another Stalker, picking up another one. And that will be guaranteed kills off here once again for herO, who putting on this aggression so early on against SOS. It's like the roles have reversed from how their series were in the previous iteration of the game.
And SOS behind this didn't use his target for anything. He's going for double additional gateway, Twilight Council. He has no pylon at the ramp. So now herO is going to proxy his own pylons. There is already one sentry though. If SOS manages to get more, he's going to need a lot of pylons though here at his ramp. And that probe is being chased.
Oh, and this is super important. I mean, if he wants to get in himself, yeah, the pylon's there for him to warp in, but he doesn't even need to cancel it to let them in. He can just kill this pylon off, and the sentry goes down as well, so the force field blocks it out for a moment, but it's not long enough at all. herO has a massive army in comparison.
SOS has nothing here. He's got one Stalker and one Mothership Core to his name. I think he might just die.
I think so. There goes the Mothership Core. He's going to be able to take down a few of these Stalkers as well. GG, herO takes game number 1 after an aggressive pylon opener into those floating overcharges. Really,
the roles have been reversed, KLRS.
Indeed.
As this man here on your screen, this time around, he's the angry one. Almost, it's almost as if he's the angry one. He's like, last time you were the one attacking, you're the one doing damage. You took all my money. It's revenge time.
I almost wanted to say, herO here against SOS. He's like, I am taking no BS. This is mine. I am just going to bring the fight to you in comparison to what we actually had in previous series. And wow, well, what a way to start it off. herO taking that first game. And the thing is that for SOS, it's such a awkward position to be in after the pylons have done damage, after they've caused you disruption. You know you're blocking off your opponent's natural, but then once that pylon's gone behind it, what's he doing? Is he doing the follow-up? Can you really see in his main base? It's difficult.
Yeah. To me, it's really weird because I really felt like SOS was in a great position. He scouted what he was up against. He blocked his opponent's Nexus almost indefinitely because herO was going on the aggression. So if SOS had used his own overcharge earlier, by the time the Mothership Core of herO would have reached across the map, there wouldn't have been any pylon to overcharge. But no, he waited way too long to use his own overcharge, so he started losing probes. And when you lose 6 probes early on in a PvP like this, you know already that it's going to be a really tough game for you to win because you start very far behind in economy. So that's exactly what happened here. And SOS, I think maybe he misread the timing a little bit at which the Mothership Core of his opponent was going to arrive.
All right, well, we're loading up onto Prey and Terraces here for our second game between herO and SOS. And in PvP, I mean, is there really wild deviations for this map? Do people go for golds early? Is that difficult? Is that going to be a factor at all?
Usually, no, you don't really go for golds very quickly. Especially, like, even going for Nexus is a big part of the meta, but Koreans do it a lot less, going for a very quick Nexus, because it seems like they play so aggressive and so well over there that they'd be able to kill somebody who would try to go for that, so we'll see.
All right, up to the top left then. 1 game up currently in this best of 5, representing CJ Entus. It is herO. Looking good in that first game, really bringing it. And
looking good, period.
Not entirely expected there from SOS. And then down towards the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss representing Jin Green Wings. It is SOS. With a pylon at his natural ramp.
Yeah, he's going to be playing a little bit of a trickier card here himself, with probably some aggression. Like when you get a gateway like this, usually you're going to want to play aggressive. What is it going to be, though, exactly? Is he going to go for the full wall? You think that, like...
Yeah, I've thought
there is, like, 2 main reasons why he would put a gateway here. Number 1, he wants to reach his opponent's space earlier than if he had a gateway in his main. Number 2, he might want to wall off entirely and then go into either something like a Nexus or DTs. And for his opponents, it would be almost impossible to scout because he would need a flying unit, and it's only the Mothership Core that you can get that fast that can see whether or not there is a Nexus. So it can be very tricky to play against this kind of style. And it's actually going to be a Nexus here for SOS.
But a probe trying to get up here, if this is completely fully walled off, he won't really completely know that that's the case. I guess, can you read into the Cybernetics Core timing, though?
Not really, I think.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it's no, not really. It was started like very shortly after the gateway. It would have been about the same if the assimilator had been made instead of Nexus, and then he wanted to go for some kind of one base. So now herO is gonna be in this situation where he doesn't know if there is a Nexus, which is everything. If you think you're facing on one base, you need to get Stalkers out, you need to get a Robo maybe for observers, some kind of detections in case it's TTs. If you're facing a Nexus, you need to expand yourself. He could maybe even take the gold if he somehow realized that there is a Nexus, but herO is not going to be able to know. So now SOS is the one in the driver's seat. He's the one setting up the pace. And I think herO might just try to be aggressive here because of this.
Yeah, it's looking like it. 2 Stalkers already rallied out forwards. Front boost going in.
So funny. He just makes a final. He's like, hey, I'm for real. I'm for real. Pay attention to me. You can't be aggressive. My Mothership Core could almost be reaching your base. And herO actually pulls back with his Stalkers. He pulls back to kill the pylon in his main.
Oh my god. Well,
how can you not respect this? Like, you can't know.
Yeah.
SOS is such a master.
That's so sick. And meanwhile, behind it, he's just going to get himself a nice economical advantage. He's on top of these pylons too. The Mothership Core is coming along.
I think by
pylon's
now,
so important.
Yeah, by now, herO is probably starting to realize what's happening here. Overcharge going to be used.
Ooh. Yeah, trying to work on this pylon, but the one at the back was so instrumental in making sure that these 2 buildings did not get underpowered. Because if they did, then that could be an absolute disaster here for SOS.
He's going to check the main here. Well, herO, he wants to know exactly what he's up against. If there is any kind of tech, all he's going to see is double additional gateway, and he's going to know that there is a Nexus that's already finished on his opponent's natural. So he's going to go for the all-out aggression here.
Jeez, fights going on everywhere once again. And actually, he shot his own Stalker there, I think, for a moment. Loses one of them. Mothership Core getting pressured back by Stalkers.
This is just not working here so far from herO. He's done some damage, he's traded, but it's not really crippling damage that you need to be doing against this kind of tech. And now, SOS is going to start on warping in units 3x3. He's got 2 base saturation with more probes. herO has the Robo that just finished, and he gets an observer, so he's still afraid that there could be some kind of DTs, which is a little bit surprising. So he's misreading the situation a little bit.
Continues to wall this off over and over, making sure nothing's going to get him.
He's going to expand now.
Oh my god, Pylon going down in the back of the base here for SOS. This game. What do you expect from herO versus SOS though,
he's going to
really?
see the Nexus as well.
Yeah.
Oh, SOS. Does herO check the inner side of his main here now, though? Because I think there's something being warped in there, and Adepts to try and snipe some probes. Where's the Mothership Core?
Just walks in blissfully. Nothing to deny at all.
Mothership Core is across the map, so there's not going to be any overcharge. And Stalkers, they take some time to kill an Adept, so that one's going to get a few snipes.
Yeah, in total, we have 2 workers killed against 6, and he will find this pylon eventually.
And so that's 27 probes against 22. And he's got the earlier Nexus now. All SOS has to do, having spotted his opponent's second Nexus, is to corner boost out probes, go for Blink, and down the line he can go into Disruptor if he wants to. And it really feels like herO knows that he has to try something special here to come back in this game. So he's going to start a Warp Prism and a Robo Bay. Maybe for some kind of Disruptor drop with Warp Prism speed later.
Maybe. The Observer's going to come in for herO as well to have a look around SOS's base. He'll see the Robo facility only just halfway complete in the back. And then also may end up looping around towards the natural to see that the Twilight Council is down and upgrading. So he would spot that Blink being researched.
You'd think that with going Blink against somebody like a Warp Prism, and I think what is going to be a Disruptor here, it would be good for SOS, but Blink takes a very long time to complete. So there is a chance this Disruptor hits before this is ready, but being able to spot it here, this is going to be everything. Even like he even sees the Robo Bay researching something like SOS right now. He's going to know exactly what he's going to be up against. And then all he has to do now, he's tasked his units to defend one of his bases and Mothership Core to defend the other one. And if he doesn't take any damage, he's just going to keep his lead very nicely here.
Doing really well so far. I mean, it's been a cool little start to this game as well, to just make sure that the wall-off would hold. Worker-wise, 41 to 32. So massive economic advantage here for SOS. And is he actually going to go and take this gold base? Or is he going as elsewhere?
Yeah, I think both players are going to be taking that third base. SOS already started his pretty early. We saw him already do something similar to this with a fairly quick third against MC. That was even faster than this back when. Blink is quite a few seconds away from finishing. I think it's Mothership Core to defend that base. He's got 2 pylons very well placed, actually. This could die very quickly. Oof. And he's chased away instantly, shut down on the harassment here.
Double photon overcharge now. It doesn't last as long, but I mean, it's very, very powerful. The Blink now on the way. Or I should say it lasts a little bit longer, but anyway, with the patches.
Yeah, so this hasn't done any damage. He's going to blink at the last second and get the Warp Prism here. Potentially, he's going to chase it down. Does he have a blink soon enough? No, okay.
Still. Oh, it's back, but no way. With the Warp Prism speed, very difficult to actually chase that down.
But now, SOS is going to have so much initiative. Because he has Blink, he can just move out, be aggressive. And I think he might just attack, actually. When you know that your opponent is on low disruptor count, you can attack with Immortals and Blink Stalkers. Make sure you dodge those balls and try and finish the game. It's 3 disruptors, though. It's going to be tough. But, I mean, SOS, he's got a good amount of Stalkers.
The control needs to be there. Tries to blink some of those away. First misses. Second one, will it hit anything?
And this is a very long cooldown on these detonations. He uses all 3.
Oh.
herO, you shouldn't have done that. Now it's going to be even harder to hold this attack. He's got a couple pylons here that will help.
They're not active at all. Completely dead weight. Photon Overcharge going to go down on one pylon. He has a bit more energy to actually buy some time.
And SOS doesn't actually have to commit because behind this he's getting a Warp Prism, he's getting a Dark Shrine, he could drop some DTs, and he's applying so much pressure that herO, he's not going to be getting additional observers. He's just going to have the one down there.
Blinks away. Only one of the disruptor balls actually hits that. Immortal's going to come in as well because separates off some of those units. Actually loses 2 of the sentries there to that disruptor.
But the Warp Prism is on its way. There is one single observer here for SOS. So if there is some kind of DT drop in the natural and main very quickly, plus a DT walking into the third base at the same time, that could be a lot of probes that die here.
herO just looking to use these shades as a scouting mechanism. Doesn't really see anything. They've already moved back as the army here of SOS.
Actually, like, you can remove the DTs with some good disruptor detonation, but against like a very good player, usually he's just going to move back, dodge these, and now DTs are being warped in. They're going to be dropped in the main, looks like. It's going to be the 2 of them.
And even a third?
That's for the third base, I think, usually.
Maybe.
Oh, no, he loads it up.
Oh, well.
No.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Being a cheeky fella. Another fight going to go down. He gets himself one disruptor. Has to blink away from there. Those 2 Immortals do cause some problems. He actually spots this
He's not ready.
coming in.
herO is not ready. He only has 1 observer that's down on the map right now. He's going to have to walk all the way back, and he's in so much trouble. That's going to be, what, 20 probes dead, maybe?
Oh, he gets the first DT.
Wow. I did not expect that. And the DT in the third base as well was killing some probes. That's already 9 probes here.
Oh, so much damage been done.
Oh, he gets this well.
Sacrifices the Stalker for it, but I mean to alleviate some of the pressure. But another Dark Templar is going to be warped into the main base, and this is really causing herO so many problems.
SOS, in the meantime, being active with the Stalkers as well, trying to find some room to do some damage. He's saturated on 3 bases himself now. His Walker leads. He's going to be massive. Actually, no, it's just 59 to 53, so...
I think that Immortal can get out there eventually, but... Oh, there we go. And... more and more Stalkers just going to get warped in.
Second Robo actually from SOS, so he might be slowing down this game a little bit more. herO, it looks like he might want to go into Blink himself because he's getting a Twilight Council. I don't think he wants to go for a charge here. Because when you're facing Disruptor yourself, it's going to be really hard to win if you go for a ground army.
Still more Dark Templars just being dropped off all the time here by SOS.
There is no Blink. There is no Blink for herO. He can't shut this down properly.
It's difficult, especially with how quickly Warp Prisms are able to actually pick up units from further away. 4th base is on the way. Warp Prism actually does spot that there, so he's going to warp in quite a few Adepts to put some harass on, but he could get the Robo facility at the front here. That'd be big. And he's going to get it. Easy snipe out. Wow.
That's the Mana Robo.
Yeah.
The one that you made too far out that gets sniped. Shout out, Mana.
Oh, jeez, these Warp Prisms, they have to be so careful. I mean, herO can't afford to lose Warp Prisms.
Yeah.
He needs to keep the pressure on himself to make sure that he can alleviate it from the other side of the map.
Oh, that's surprising. I think herO realizes that once again he's behind in this game, so instead of trying to take the natural 4th base that you would take, which is the other goal, he takes this one sort of as a like hidden base, which could end up being spotted here by SOS. But like having double Disruptor production against your opponent who's only on 1 Robo because he sniped it, this is just great for SOS here, clearly.
Tries to dodge the Disruptors once again. Will do. Those Immortals in tandem are very, very powerful.
SOS is going to be playing aggressive here, I think, in a minute. He's going to be moving out, trying to get some good Disruptor shots. He's going to be safe on his 4 bases with the cannons that he's getting in static defense now.
Warp Prism is with this army.
Wow,
but
actually this is very dangerous.
Ooh. Okay, don't want to get that Blinked under at all. He needs to keep that Warp Prism alive. It needs to do something. And still, another Warp Prism up towards the top, or even the original Warp Prism trying to do something. Catches a few of those Stalkers there with the initial Disruptor shot.
Not quite able to kill the Warp Prism here and properly shut it down. Blink finally starts for herO. Well, better late than never, right?
Yeah. Gonna have to do something.
I'm actually really surprised that SOS didn't try to play more aggressive, but I guess he was behind on the Disruptor count and he realized that bit. But still, I think against somebody who doesn't have Blink, you have so much room to attack and get some big detonations.
I'm going to move across here with this strong, strong army he has at the moment. Disruptor doesn't catch a damn thing. Where are the disruptors? Okay, so there's 4 of them in the back here.
The supply is actually, considering how this game has gone, herO has done a fantastic job of staying alive and somehow stabilizing. He's ahead in walkers. If he doesn't die here and like stay in this game longer, he might have a shot. I really thought like SOS will find a way to attack here sometime soon and, you know, seal the deal.
Still more dancing around, bouncing back against this. I mean, another disruptor ball is going to come out, but it's not going to connect here with SOS's small poke forwards. As long as SOS can trade out, without having Blink, he can trade Stalker for Stalker and then just get away.
What's that up there? Oh, an observer. Okay, spotting the prism.
Keeping an eye out. Oop, that disruptor.
You can't blink forward, that's the thing though, as herO here, because if you do, then and more disruptors come in with some big detonations, you're actually going to try to come from the other side.
Very, very nice. A few more Stalkers go down. All of these trades definitely going in favor of SOS. He is just controlling better. Blink not done yet. It's so important to get that out.
Eventually does get it though, herO. It's just so hard to attack against disruptors, and SOS, I think he's found a way here to try and do some damage, maybe try and pull his opponent out of position. He's got more supply. Spots that force base as well, which is very important.
Yeah, the disruptors were exchanging blows in towards the middle, but those zealots did cause some problems.
Overcharge is so sick.
It's really
That
hurts.
was like, what, 12 zealots?
Yeah.
They just melted.
It's so powerful, but oh well. And at least you can't get a million of them at the same time, I guess. I remember, which game was it? Casting, there was like 8 pylons photon overcharge before patch. It was crazy for a defense, but now you're going to see that these Stalkers just wrapping around and looking for some alternate paths to put on some aggression themselves, and they've done a good job. They can get out of here. They have Blink off cooldown.
SOS now with the 5th base. I can't believe this game has a... We actually might see a really long game here between these two. They're so evenly matched here.
Oh!
And as I say that...
Disruptor balls going in everywhere, and he's split up so much of his army. He's actually going to blink in aggressively against this. Disruptor balls go in and catch a lot of those Stalkers. Look at the supplies. And they're also combating these Stalkers on the
SOS is not ahead in supply.
What?
herO, sorry. SOS might have overextended here with this attack, even though he traded pretty well, and his army is looking really scary. What's going on here?
I mean, the one thing that's going in SOS's favor is the fact that eventually he will have more bases than his opponent, but that was crazy engagements. herO got the far better end of those trades in the end.
Look at these supplies in army and Walker, they're so even as well. This is crazy game here that we're seeing on map number 2.
Yeah, Stalker's just going to press up against this. He does have +2, but also likewise +2 is done for herO. 2 disruptors in there, so he's got to be careful about how he orchestrates this attack.
Wow, SOS now on 5 bases. And no Tempest prospect here so far for either player. 2 DTs are being warped in, I think in the main. This could be a great move for SOS here. There is only one single cannon. Does he react on time? Oh, there is an observer anyway.
Yeah.
herO with the foresight here.
Mothership Core should be able to deal with that as well. But still more units getting warped in there. A few more zealots now. All with that cannon almost down. Photon overcharge about to dissipate as well.
He warps in on time. Actually,
oh, got to clear attention. Oh, blinks out of that, but he loses himself disruptors as well as a Stalker or 2. But now this is where SOS really ramps it up. He's got a huge army advantage here after being able to have all of those bases at the back of this. Warp Prism's dead, blinking forwards. He knows there's no disruptors there, and he's going to try and come in for the defense, but he's losing so many disruptors in the process. Here is herO. He is being dismantled, and he'll have to back on out from here.
because SOS's army was all together, he decided to get in there very furiously to force an overextension here for herO. To tell herO, you need to come in right now and try and defend this, because otherwise I'm going to kill your entire army. And then that's when you get these big detonations that you're forcing mistakes out of your opponent. His army has to come in hot, and those disruptors start dying from your opponent's disruptors. herO starts a Dark Shrine, but he's going to lose his Robo Bay.
GG. Game number 2 goes to SOS. He ties it up. And wow, what a game to tie it up in. Those are some great little engagements towards the end. I thought that herO was actually going to find a great way back in after the Stalkers had been separated up. Didn't quite get the disruptor trades he wanted off in the middle, but in the end, SOS had so much money. Well, yeah. He always has so much money.
No, don't make that joke when herO's around. Actually, herO stayed alive in this game much longer than I feel anybody else could have.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, with all the damage he was taking, somehow he was finding a way, to be consistent enough with the pro production and with everything, the micro, the positioning, to really stay in it. It was really that last big attack that sealed the deal here for SOS. And I feel like he could have made that happen a little bit earlier. SOS definitely slowed down a little bit too much at some stages in the game, but in the end, solid enough to close it out. And it's just so hard to manage that situation that we saw here, where herO's army was split. He just had his stalkers at that north base, and the rest of his army was towards his gold base that was below. And then, like I said, like SOS got in there very furiously, fast and furiously, and then herO had to react by sending in his own disruptors very quickly to try and get some detonations. But obviously, SOS knew that was going to be the case, so he prepared his own disruptors and then blew up the entire army of herO. So a really good move here by SOS to finish things on Prion Terraces.
We're going to be going on to Dust Towers for our third game here.
Who walls off? And what tech do they go for? That's like the big questions here.
Does SOS send his probe over there super fast and try and get and make sure he's going to be a pest? Because, well, I mean, he tried to be in that first game, but then he just kind of had pylons all up in his face, and it wasn't the happiest of times.
Do we see a Nexus first against a proxy gate?
That's the crazy thing about Legacy of the Void, man. I mean, like, the builds in PvP, the starting builds in PvP, like, you can have so much variance compared to where we were in, say, like, Heart of the Swamp. Actually, I would say Heart of the Swamp kind of got a bit more varied, like, towards the end, for sure. But
I actually think it would be so crazy if SOS was to go for a proxy. It's like, hey, let's give him a little flashback, you know, like, from that one tournament we played in the Grand Finals. I think herO, if he saw, even if he scouted proxy gateways, he probably, like, would skip a few heartbeats and panic a little bit in his mind. We'll see what these two choose to go for after two very intensive decision-making games here. Map number 1 and 2. SOS is he's such a master, really, of like these build orders and everything. Always seems to know exactly when he needs to go for. Didn't quite find too much success in map number 1 because it might actually, like, if you think about it, when SOS is the one like properly attacking, and when he gets the build order right, he doesn't really lose. Whereas last game, he started Nexus and then he put doubts in herO's head. herO didn't really know what to do. He didn't really know what he was facing. So he's the one who went for the attack, but he was already provoked by SOS. So SOS was just able to be like, okay, well, you're going for the attack this time. I didn't defend well enough the first time. This time around, I'm going to use my overcharge on time. I'm going to get enough units to make sure I don't take any damage. And from there, he was always in a good position. Sure, herO stayed alive and did. He took every single steps properly to make sure he was going to have a fighting chance down the line. But SOS was just solid the whole way with everything, macro, tech-wise, upgrades. He started his bases on time every single time that he needed to take them. And that was a very impressive game out of him, I think, altogether. You know, a lot of people, they look at this guy and maybe, you know, they're not particularly familiar with StarCraft. They're like, oh, yeah, another one of those protosses who love to play cheesy and throw in crazy builds. Sure. But this guy has some of the best macro that you can see in StarCraft 2, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. And again, these games really aren't disappointing today at all. Even the 3-1 that we had before, you know, as much as the scoreline would have said
as much as it could have been a 3-2, he was the series that we definitely would have hoped for, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. These have been some really good games so far. We have just had a disconnect from our host in the lobby here, which is why it's taking a little bit longer to get into our third game, which is looking to be rectified here by our admins in just a moment to get into game number 3, as herO and SOS stare each other down through the walls that they can't really see each other just yet.
I wonder if Bjorn actually has a preference between these two. And you know what? I'm looking at him right now and he's playing ladder, so probably not.
No, I guess not.
Bjorn doesn't have a care in the world. Bjorn is so good, actually. Like, honestly, like, it feels like whoever of SOS and herO that's going up against Bjorn, on paper, they might be the heavy favorite, you know, because of like their past earnings and all that. But I really feel like Bjorn shouldn't be worried about either of them. Like, as long as he plays really well, he's going to have a chance against either. He's actually had pretty unreal results lately. I think it's...
Bjorn, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Holy Moly on Twitter that posted like a screenshot of like all the tournaments he's been in, in finals of the Holy Moly. It's like an insane amount. I think he's like, what? Over 10 maybe?
Uh-oh.
A lot of games, basically.
Let's get into this game. herO is not producing probes. Up to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. It will be CJN versus herO. And down to the bottom left, we have our blue Protoss. It is Jin Greenwings SOS tying up the series. And that is a fast gateway to start things off here from herO.
Yeah, and with the wall-off as well, which both players are going for. So apparently wall-offs are good in PvP and everybody should use them.
Yeah. Especially on these pocket bases.
Well, actually, if you think about it, in the first 2 maps, whoever went for a wall-off won the game. Even though obviously you know, it was very specific builds and stuff, and it could have gone either way.
It definitely worked out in the end.
In before, like PvPs, like the new PvZ, like you wall off, except you don't even leave a hole, like you properly wall off everything.
Exactly, full wall offs. They think the Terrans, you can't move those pylons, guys. You're gonna have to kill them, and etc. But he gets a probe in there already, just SOS, and he's like, wait a minute, that gateway was pretty quick overall. So he did sacrifice a little bit of economy for this, did herO.
Yeah, and herO this time actually won't even completely a perfect wall, because the probe's already in. I think he realizes that if he walls off completely, he might find himself in the same position that we saw him in map number 1, where there is a pylon going up on his natural. He can't start the Nexus, and he can't let the units be warped inside of his main, because then he would be trapped there.
Yep, not the best of spots to be in. This probe from herO is going to get over there.
SOS being able to be the one that went for the wall off here, it's actually, again, going to be a great achievement here, because hero's not going to know what he's facing. He's not going to know whether or not there's a Nexus. He sees the double gateway though, and he's going to see the double adept production. But the question behind this is always, is there a Nexus? Is there a Stargate? Is there DTs? You can never know. And sometimes they can even be blink with like a proxy pylon, a proxy gateway to warp in quickly, and some kind of 3 or 4 gate blink.
And it will be Stargate as the response here from SOS. So like,
I mean, of course we hadn't seen him play with the Stargate properly so far. Like, we saw a little bit of it earlier in map number 1, but back then he was SOS that he was herO that ran the show and that won.
Throws down a pylon here, but it's spotted very quickly by SOS, along with the Adept being able to kill off the probe as well. So that's a good start by SOS to just get full information on what's going on. It's going to be Stargate as well for herO, but he starts it vastly slower than SOS.
Which could be really bad. Now the question is, do we see an Oracle or Phoenix here being made by SOS? And it's an Oracle, so if herO manages to overcharge his pylons on time back at home when that Oracle's going to hit, and then behind this gets Phoenixes, he could be okay. But right now herO is across the map with his Mothership Core. I think he's going to check the Stargate, then recall.
Full wall off from herO very quickly because of those shades that wanted to get in.
Oh, he didn't see the Stargate?
Did he not? Did he not get the Stargate?
He's going
all the way
around
to the back?
He's going to see it now.
Yeah, he has to. So
is he going to overcharge? Oh, there's no overcharge left for SOS. Oh, no, he's just got 1, but I don't think he can use it anymore.
What came out with it was the Oracle, right? Okay, so that's going to head on the way over to the other side. The Adepts are still working away at that pylon.
I'm afraid that the Oracle's going to try to fly in there because...
Yeah.
In this case, SOS has no info, so he's actually going to fly into a Phoenix, potentially.
Yeah, because he couldn't get in at all with the Adepts. Now they've killed this off, and they could technically send a Shade in, but by the time they get in, it's all too late. There's the Phoenix, there's the potent overcharge, and that Oracle will be denied.
And the Adepts will be killed as well. He killed 3 probes, which is not bad, but that's, I mean, when you lose 2 Adepts and an Oracle, usually you expect to kill more like 10 probes, not 3. And second Stargate goes down here.
Whoa.
SOS.
All right, SOS.
I think he realizes that he's in trouble, so he's going to take the gases on his natural very quickly, and he's going to try to come back on the Phoenix count here, even though he knows that he just threw an Oracle into a Phoenix, which is obviously really bad. Wow, what a series, man.
Yeah, great games. Really all very varied, to be honest with you. This is now going to end up being in a complete and dominant air war here if herO isn't careful. He's going for the Twilight Council, and you know, against this, it's difficult.
I think that's smart. Actually, herO wants to be aggressive. He knows that he's going to have more Phoenixes here for the moment. So he's going to poke at the ramp, try to force some overcharge, and then try to use his Phoenixes to do some damage here and there.
So sick for an overcharge. Hits so hard. Tries to get in towards this mineral line, gets himself 2 probes. But now he's in a bit of a tight bind, actually, with those Phoenix. They took some free damage, and he's going to lose 1. Oh, 1 for 1.
Okay, herO made the Twilight, by the way, behind this. This is going to be Blink or DTs here.
Blink, Blink.
Starts Blink, okay. So we should be seeing additional gateways here going down and him transitioning.
I mean, does he fully read into the fact that there's 2 Stargates right now? Did he see it? He must have done, right? No, he didn't see the second one.
yeah,
I thought the Phoenix had flown over it, but
not close enough.
No.
But I like this for SOS, I think. I really like it. If you're able to surprise with a good amount of Phoenixes, he has so much initiative. The thing is, he's going to face Blink, sure, but Photon Overcharge is so good in defense anyway that it doesn't really matter. And usually what happens when you play Phoenix like this is that you lock your opponents on a couple bases. It's very hard for him to move out and properly attack, but it looks like herO might be planning to attack anyway because he's proxying a gateway out on the map to be able to warp in quicker. Actually, I don't know if it will come to this, but I wonder if SOS down the line was thinking about playing with mass air. On this map, mass air is so strong because you can take a 3rd base and 4th base so easily.
6 gateways in total being added on extra here for herO. This is, and a 7th going down.
8 gates.
This is going to be a big, big attack here. Jeez.
And Dark Shrine as well.
Whoa.
Everything, man.
All right. And the kitchen sink. Let's go. Everything. Pylon even going down in towards the natural.
It wasn't spotted.
3rd even, I should say.
And
So many Phoenix almost for nothing.
The problem for SOS is that he doesn't know this is coming, so he's not getting enough pylons to properly defend with the overcharge.
Yeah.
And he only has 2 gateways, which are powered by 1 single autosis pylon.
Oh, you're right. Oh, he's going to back it up.
I think he's starting to realize he's not back at home ready to defend, though. The Stalkers, they're about to have Blink. They're going to blink up your ramp, bro.
Oh, this is just going to be so difficult to hold. He's going to be able to warp in very, very aggressively with all of this.
He's out on the map. He's trying to catch his opponent's Phoenixes here.
It's not going to be enough. This is going to be so bad for him. He's going to lose that pylon at the front. He needs another Photon Overcharge, but he barely has the energy to actually get any more after that. And the pylon's going to die anyway. That's going to underpower all of this. Phoenix is just going to be able to pick up a few of these Stalkers. He needs more Stalkers here, does herO, though, to continue this on.
Oh, he might have enough with just the Phoenixes.
The lifts are great.
SOS went straight for his opponent's Phoenix, killed them all.
But he loses a lot of the damage here from the Phoenix when he lifts it up. Thankfully, he had a lot of energy to keep picking things up. He might be able to kill all off this with Phoenix alone, with just a little bit of extra firepower on the ground.
herO might have attacked a little bit too early here. If he waited for 1 or 2 more cycle warping, but DJs are being warped in. There is no detection. There is no robo. He needs to wall off his ramp. There is a force field. There is a force field. Does he see it?
I think that
SOS.
No, he didn't see it. It just gets in.
Oh, he saw it.
Walking on in. At least
he didn't see
found.
it.
There's
He
another
starts a
Dark
robo.
Templar.
This is going to be really tough, actually. Going straight for probes.
Oh, GG.
Wow, I thought SOS has seen it. That changes everything, by the way. Like, if he sees it here, he walls off his ramp, force fields, gets an Oracle, gets an Observer, but now, like, he was going to take forever to get an Oracle. He didn't even start one on time, so... What a crazy series in games.
They're so crazy. They're so crazy. I mean, the commitment... I totally agree with what you were saying about the Stalkers being... You thought that they were a little bit early in terms of the attack, maybe a few more extra rounds to
maybe
warp
they
in
were just a distraction,
nice,
but that makes it an even bigger gamble.
Yeah, exactly. That's a huge gamble to hope that your Dark Templar's just going to go unnoticed during all of that. But the thing is that that's the kind of mind of herO. He has backup plans to his strategies, which is the, okay, I'm going to hit you with the Stalkers. It's very potent, but if it doesn't work, there are still Dark Templars to follow that up, whereas some other players might just be like, okay, my Stalkers didn't work, GG, I'm done.
I mean, guess what? The 2 super aggro games that herO has played very well in, he's won. Sure, he lost on Prime Terrace, is playing aggressive as well, but he was a lot more so about the fact that, you know, he got a little bit unfortunate with some things. SOS was super solid in the defense, and he didn't know whether or not there was a nexus. SOS in a bit of trouble here. Your prediction's not looking that great, is it now?
No, I got the first series dead on, but this one not so much right now. I definitely can't get it dead on this time at least, as herO has taken his second map in this best of 5. But, I mean, I'm happy to be wrong when it comes to these kind of wild games that we get to see here. That was cool stuff by herO. I wasn't really expecting a full-blown 8-gate to come out off the back of what was going on. I thought the game was just going to transition into a full air war with SOS being in a really good spot.
Yeah, I mean, like, Blink against double Stargate Phoenix, then we would have seen both players take a 3rd base, and then it would have been the question of does SOS go mass air or not, which, you know, I was mentioning on this map can be really good, but I guess we'll never find out because herO wanted to take it before that, and he did.
Yeah, very cool stuff. So Runes of Seros here, Todd, for game at number 4. What do you make of it?
There's going to be, a little bit of randomness with the scouting, whether you
Yep.
get it right or not. There is also some wall of potential, but it's not one of those maps where you have a pocket expand. So if you can't. Basically, on this map, you can't perfect wall your ramp because otherwise you're trapped in your main and you can't go into
Not
your
great.
natural. So if you plan on expanding, you probably shouldn't do that. And usually you do need to expand at least one time, unless you plan on doing on one base. But then if you open on scarcity, you're in trouble. So yeah, basically, I don't think we're going to see a perfect wall here. And are we going to see a quick Nexus here finally? It really seems like right now, neither of these guys particularly want to do it. We saw SOS go for it earlier on Prion Terraces, but is it time again for something like this?
Let's jump into game number 4. Over to the right-hand side, it's our red Protoss representing CJ Entus, and one game away from another final. It is herO. I think this would make his 5th Intel Extreme Masters final if he were to actually achieve it.
Who's even counting anymore?
Me.
I feel like he should have a Intel Extreme Masters patch on his jacket.
Sponsored by.
He's a partner at this point.
And over to the left-hand side, we have our Jin Air Green Wings Protoss. It is SOS.
Not going for the wall off. It's herO that goes for it.
So as much as herO, sponsored now by the Intel Extreme Masters pretty much, I think SOS has walked away from more money than anybody in the Intel Extreme Masters history. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. herO would have made it ridiculous how much money he would have walked away from the Intel Extreme Masters if he'd have actually taken that 100K.
I mean, regardless of that, like in terms of success in the Intel Extreme Masters, like herO is probably one of the, if not the most successful player in these tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, he's won so many. He's been to finals so many times.
I was going to say, even across like other games as well.
Nexus!
Oh my god, SOS.
Against a herO who I think might be playing aggressive here. Even though he's not fully saturated on the gases yet, I think like when you open one base like this with some sort of a wall on your ramp, you have to play aggressive. Unluckily for him though, he's going to scout his opponent last.
Yeah, that's really, really far. And it takes a lot of time. That probe's losing a lot of mining time. SOS is going to get the scout off first, and he will have the full read as to what his opponent's up to.
That's really unfortunate for herO. If he would have scouted this like first or even second, it's so much easier to react to it because you see it early enough to exactly decide what you want to go into. And we've seen in the past how well he can react to stuff that is scouted whenever he realizes exactly what he's facing. So very, very unfortunate here for herO, but
Does he throw some pylons down to put a fear of God into him? SOS already tried to just put one down in the previous game. Not going to do that just yet, though. This probe now, for herO knows where his opponent is. He just hasn't seen anything yet.
Robo in the back of his middle line.
Whoa. Oh.
Okay, so because on this map you have a lot of space around your main base, something like a Warp Prism and a big Warping in the main can be very dangerous. So if you look in the main of SOS, like on the right-hand side, if a Warp Prism was to fly in there and warp in a lot of units, this could be really tough to hold, especially if they're stalkers and they're shooting from afar on to those buildings of the opponent, staying outside of the range of the pylons.
Yeah.
So this could very well be what we see here. Yeah, additional gateways went down already, so I think herO is going to go all out here. He's like, all right, I got unlucky, I scouted you last, guess what? I make my own luck and I'm going to transfer that into good fortune.
This Step's going to fly on in with its shade and try and do a little bit more damage. Already got a probe. He's going to have to get out of there, though, buy some time before his psionic transference can kick in and get a line out of there. But there was already, SOS was scouting out in the middle of the map and then looping around to maybe try and get in there again.
This
and
is very
spot what's
important.
Going on.
The scout's going to be denied here for an adept back at home.
Oh,
so right
perfect.
now, SOS is not going to know whether there is a Nexus or not. So he has to start assuming here himself, which you never want to be doing. If he had known that it's a one base, then he can just make sure he gets enough units, gets enough pylons to hold it. But now since he's chased away, he's not going to know anytime soon.
No, indeed. How many adepts do we have out? 3 against 3
Oh, he's going to miss the
stalkers?
probe. The shade misses the probe.
Oh, he did.
So there's still a chance SOS sees this.
Warp Prism's already on the way. It's
Yeah,
warping
it's very late,
units.
Oh, if you imagine he had walked back here with the probe and seen those 4 stalkers warping, that would have helped so much. But SOS, though, right now he's getting a 3rd gateway, he's getting stalkers, he's going to start a robo.
Pylon probe's going to go in towards the natural as well. And now he knows exactly what is going on for the most part. He knows he has to be buckling down for some kind of aggression. With no Nexus there, this can get very scary.
He's going to elevator everything inside the main here, herO.
Pylon's going down in the main.
I think SOS, he kind of knows. He's sticking around the natural unit counts. There's actually 8 stalkers for SOS, 4 for herO, but he's going to warp in quite a few more.
And that's a lot of Stalkers as well as
He's
depth
going
in
to
towards
the
his
gateway
main.
immediately.
Oh, if he gets that power pylon, he's going to underpower these gateways as well. He needs to get the one on the other side as well, and then he can underpower the majority of them. Stalkers actually have to move on back there from that and picking up some of the units in range of that photon overcharge to try and get them away. The Adepts tanking some of the damage from the Stalkers, but warping in more here. One gate down. He needs those Immortals out quickly, does SOS.
I think he's going to send some adepts in the natural here, maybe will herO. Having a Warp Prism here is massive because he can keep on picking up units as they're getting shot at here.
Oh, he wants that pylon, and another pylon gets up for SOS on the left-hand side, so he's been able to warp in more, but as he gets that one up, the other one goes down, so still another gate is down here for him.
Yeah, the unit count is going to be very important. And Immortal is actually about to come out. This could turn everything here for SOS, who's already got more supply. He chooses not to even pull probes. He's that confident that he's held it.
Oh, he's got a lot of Stalkers, and they're quite healthy as well here. Army count is in favor, technically, of SOS. That Immortal does pop out. It's in the fight, and herO doesn't really have that much here. This could be 2-2 very swiftly if SOS is able to hold on against it, because there is no economy to fall back onto. He's going to get that Warp Prism as well, and that is going to be the herO dashed from this game. SOS ties it up, and we go on to game number 5. Wow, wow, wow.
All-out aggression doesn't always win, Kailaris, it seems like. Even though herO has been the one that's definitely trying to be setting the pace as much as he can here in this series, SOS has had some seriously good defense, not just on Prime Terrasses earlier, but now on Runes of Ceres. And both players, they are mixing it up so much.
Yeah.
SOS finally, again, here went for another quick Nexus. Again, actually, just like in Prime Terrasses. Maybe he's found his own recipe here for success.
Maybe.
Quick Nexus.
And then Liralat Crest is going to be the next map.
Maybe no Quick Nexus.
No. This has been a great series. I'm really, really enjoying the 2 series that we've had here so far. And then God knows what their final has got in store for us. The SOS.
Oh, we know what's got in store for us. It's a PVT.
Well, okay. All right. We have that bit. We have that bit at least. And I'm probably going to get plushies thrown at me from the analysis desk.
Again.
So, yeah. Again. Great fun. All right.
Apollo occupies himself any way he can.
I mean, he has to now that he's only merely a host, right?
Whoa! I don't think he's listening.
No, he's not. Damn it. He's like, oh, I've got to hang my vocal cords up. They're a little bit sore. No. I'm really glad he's not listening right now. But anyway, Liralat Crest will be our map. Looks like everyone is good to go. All right, are you still sticking with what you thought? Are you still sticking with your prediction, your beautiful prediction?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
Everybody's definitely good to go right now, man.
Everybody is good to go. All right. Well, herO, doing some soul searching here, would like to defeat SOS here at an Intel Extreme Masters. And he's very close to doing so, but his aggression did not work in that previous game. I think we'll see a bit more of a longer drawn-out game, unless SOS brings us an SOS special, unless he gets really aggressive here, which he is not afraid to do at all.
I feel like this series is the series that we deserve to see back in Katowice when they made in finals.
Yes.
Like how entertaining it's been and like how close as well. And we are finally getting it, man.
They're making up for it. All right, let's get into it. Game number 5, as we are loading on up and getting good to go. As we have to the bottom left-hand corner, it will be our red Protoss representing CJ Entus. It is herO.
The man, the legends.
And then down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is Mr. $sign himself. It's SOS.
With a pylon in his main here once again. Are we going to see a quick Nexus out of him again? We once more see the pylon at the ramp here for herO, so... With how aggressive he's been playing, if herO's game plan for this entire series was to try and be aggressive every single game, does he mix it up or does he stick to it? Because as much as he's been successful twice, he's failed twice.
Yeah.
It's a really, really hard call to make here.
And SOS is already going to scout out in the correct direction.
Yeah,
Nice
with
stuff.
this map being a 2-players map, he's going to have to be fortunate as well with the scout. But herO only on one single gas, so he might be the one going for a single quick Nexus here. Whereas SOS went for the double gas and 2 gateways.
Oh.
So the roles could be reversed.
Probe?
Yeah, no blocker, Reno.
No blocky block. Oh, well. Yeah, double gas on the other side here for SOS, as you were mentioning. And
It might be time for SOS to go all out on the aggression himself
Yeah.
here, because he's already got the double gateway set up. It's horizontal close position, so he's going to get there very quickly. And like I said, on this map, I thought it was unlikely that anybody would go for a quick Nexus because it's so open around the natural. But now, this is just ideal for SOS. He could go into something like Adepts, followed up by any kind of attack. If he wants to go for a Stargate and Oracle, sure, I think he's going to be fine. Anything, really.
this could get scary. I mean, he knows with the progression of any Nexus that he would take.
Oh, cheeky.
The probe's
Crouching,
sticking around.
crouching probe, hidden pylon, tasteless.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do at this point. I mean, it's an annoyance, a genuine annoyance to actually catch up in your own Nexus here as SOS, knowing that it's done.
There we go.
And he's going to stick around. Are we going to have... going to poke on him? No,
If you're hero here, where are you supposed to put down the pylons at your natural that they're going to be able to defend this entire area? It's going to be almost impossible.
Yeah, it's 2 ramps and then... Oh, going to spot it. Oh, been spotted. You have been outed. And he throws the pylon down right next to it.
I think Hero's reaction has to be additional gateways here down the line. He doesn't have to get them now because Warp Gate only now started. And for SOS, what is it going to be though? He's got a probe in the main about to make something. It's the 3rd gateway, so a lot of Stalkers here to try and kill his opponents.
Wow.
But the initial defense here is there from herO with his own pylon.
He got the probe.
And the
no,
overcharged threads.
That was herO's probe going down. So at least he can't really send over anything else on the other side to be counter-attacks here as SOS picks that up. The Stalker's putting away a little bit of damage over here, but there's no pylon down just yet. It's having to finish up.
He's not going for additional gateways. He's getting a robo instead.
Just
I think he's afraid there could be something like DTs. That's the only explanation I see. He's going to see an additional gateway going down here, and he probably still can't quite...
He needs his gates, though. Surely he needs at least one.
He starts one now, and he needs at least one more, I think.
All right, well, poking up with these Stalkers, already getting a few good volleys off. That's a nice start, but Photon Overcharge will shoo that away for a moment. Gets himself a free pylon up towards the top, at least. I really feel PvP is like this weird tower defense game where pylon counters pylon of all things.
Pylon wars, man.
Yeah.
Here we were thinking it's all about the Nexus wars. Nope. No, he's going to sack the natural. I was wondering about this when I saw the robo, and I think he might be a really good choice. Because second pylon started too late here to defend for herO, so he's like, okay, it looks like if I try to fight on my second base, I'm going to die. So I'm just going to sack it.
Look at this, and he cancelled the gateway. He's warping in a sentry just to contain, knowing what his opponent's up to.
A lockdown is good here, but herO already being on a robo and starting an immortal, he could just get a second immortal maybe and a Warp Prism, and then harass against somebody who wouldn't have Blink, because then SOS is going into a Nexus. And then there it is. Sure enough, the Warp Prism starts behind this. So SOS, even though he's going to be able to go for the lockdown here, herO is going to have so much initiative here to do something with the Warp Prism and the Immortal that he has down the line.
Wow, this is an interesting little dynamic. I mean, we have seen this in things like Heart of the Swarm, kind of Nexus being taken and these soft contains occurring with these Sentry being irritating. But now let's see how this Warp Prism is going to fare against the Nexus, because if he doesn't do good damage over towards herO on the other side, SOS will gain himself a good economical advantage. Look, he's abandoning the...
Did you see what just happened? herO moved away from his ramp because he knows that Photon Overcharge is going to be enough to defend there, and he hit his units.
Right.
And then SOS looked up the ramp and he saw no units. He's like, wait a second, is he already unloading his units elsewhere? It's time to go back. But no, he wasn't yet, so that was a cool bluff here. And SOS pulled back a little bit too early. Ooh. Made sure he was safe at least.
Nice pick up there for SOS. Definitely, that really takes the wind out of herO's sails.
I can't believe that just happened, actually. Like, herO.
Too far forwards, too eager.
I think he was at home making the Nexus and Pylon, maybe.
Must
but like,
have been.
that's a very uncharacteristic mistake. And now there's even an observer following his army here. He needs to get his own to finally kill this.
Yeah, his observer's moving over to the other side of the map to have a look around his opponent's base. And all he'll see is gateways and a robo, really, once he arrives there. So just some immortals on the way for either side.
Just the fact that it's horizontal close spawn, like this was always going to be an explosive game.
Yeah.
Especially because of the build orders they went for as well. And now we find ourselves again in a situation where herO's behind, but he's doing a good job of staying in it. You know, he's on 28 probes against 32. He's got a similar tech.
Oh, he realizes his observer's here. And he's trying to get himself... No, will not be able to chase that down in the end. Lost it. Twilight Council for both sides now. It has been scouted out here by herO on towards the natural, but the hallucinated Phoenix.
They're both going to go for Blink, I think. The question now is, do they go for Disruptor with it, or do they try to play aggressive?
One thing's for sure, though, I don't think either player really wants to take massive risks at this point.
Yeah.
As this is the deciding game in this best of 5.
I feel like they're both going to scouts to try and see, because they both got sentries, by the way. They're going to try to see if the opponent's going for Disruptor, and whoever goes for Disruptor is going to be the defensive one. But if you don't see Disruptor, then maybe they just stay on Blink Stalkers, which is actually really weird if you think about it that way. I never really thought of that before. But if somebody takes to Disruptor, he's going to have less units than you, then you can attack.
Yeah.
Force Field is Immortals, kill him. And I have a lot of Stalkers blink back, and so you can properly fight and win the fight. And right now, they can't go into Disruptors just yet, up until the point they have the critical mass that allows them to do so.
You're right, it is quite the investment, so you've got to be careful about that. The Forge is on the way, though. Getting those +1 weapons is very important as well, and the way Chrono Boost works at the moment. You can just put it on that Forge and then let it worry about itself, really. It's already worrying away now on towards herO's Forge.
I like that herO is going for a much earlier +1. And SOS is going to go for the double takedown here on the rocks. What's up, Dustin?
I didn't hit your rocks once, I hit them twice. Get out of the way and we'll get access to that third. Very important.
RoboBay finally goes down here, by the way, for herO, so I think he's confident enough with his unit counts to go for this eventually. And third base is going to start here from both players.
I mean, for Immortals, with the potential of locking this position down with sentries, is very, very easily defensible here by herO. So
this could be the dream game, Kailaris.
The dream game.
Flip the map and go Tempest.
Oh, that is the dream game. That's wildly far down the line.
And second Robo already for herO. So even though he's behind on the Walker count just by a little, on the army count just by a little, he's so confident right now, enough to go for an earlier +1 than his opponents, and enough to go for Disruptors. I guess he knows that if he stays home defensively, he's going to be all right. Oh, this is a big position actually here.
I can't believe he just waltzed into this location. Yeah. Like, herO just let him, and he's actually going around.
He's going to try to trap him. There is no Mothership Core with this, but I don't know if there is enough units for herO to take a fight just yet. Probably not. He needs to wait for Disruptors.
But surely he's got to do something himself. I mean, just letting your third base go like that?
Yeah, he can't.
Oh, that's not the most comfortable of spots at all.
That's when you drop a Dark Shrine and pray. Yeah, that it works. But actually, like, if any of them were to go for a Dark Shrine now, because there's so many hallucinations flying around and revealing everything, I feel like he will have to be hidden out on the map.
All right, and Guardian Shield actually went up here for herO, anticipating some kind of fight maybe, so...
It's too early to type G.
Yeah, indeed. And we will have now full wall-offs going...
Oh, he's going to
get it again! Oh, you can't just walk down here. The sentries are there already. Photon Overcharge will push this away for a moment. Likewise, Disruptor.
I guess the 4 panels make this quite a bit harder to potentially work here. I'm actually surprised at how ballsy SOS is to be so far on the map right now with this chunk of army that he's got.
More. Yeah, there's the Guardian, the Force Field, so it'll seal that off for a moment. But even just one Photon Overcharge is enough to kind of shoo him away from that location. It's so powerful. 2
Disruptor shots available now for herO. This would be a good time to go back home here for SOS, and I think he might be starting to realize it.
And throwing down extra pylons here as SOS up to the top left so that he can warp in some Zealots for aggression if he actually wants to. Use that later on.
They're so even. Like, even though supply-wise,
oh no,
herO is behind. He's got an earlier +2. Both players are going into Disruptors on 2 Robo right now. And the double gas here on the third base is going to be saturated later here for herO, obviously, because of all that happened earlier. SOS is actually scouting a little bit everywhere on the map here. He's got a bunch of probes too.
Yeah.
Checking in places.
Very keen to make sure nothing crazy is happening. Oh! That was 2 Disruptors, right?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant move.
Big pickup here.
Yeah. It's not a cheap investment at all.
2 Disruptor lead now because of this for herO, so definitely a good thing here, finally going his way.
I mean, of course, with his third base delayed for so long, it was important that he actually did get some damage done here and there.
It feels like, oh! Okay, gonna blink out on time.
Got the Disruptor though, that was a nice snipe out.
SOS.
Oh, he could get them all! Oh, Hardened Shield being activated, very important there for herO, very important.
He got a couple Stalkers though, because the blink was a little bit late here from herO. SOS is ahead in supply, and it looks like he wants to try and close this the same way he did earlier on Prion Terraces, with a lot of pressure. But right now, it's not working out. He's still ahead on supply, though. All it takes is a couple very good detonations, and he's just going to win the game instantly. herO, though, going for additional gateways right now. And we're going to be seeing SOS take an earlier fourth base here in a second. And the really cool thing about this is that he's got a pylon on the left-hand side where herO could go for a fourth base. And this might force herO to try and go for the middle, the 6 o'clock fourth base. But the thing is, SOS has more supply. So
it's impossible almost to actually try and get this location.
Impossible is nothing for these players, man.
You know,
No, but I agree, it's pretty tough.
These disruptors keep giving me a heart attack, and it's always blinking out, so should be okay.
When behind, Kailaris?
Do the Dark Shrine dance. Well, there's no dance for the Dark Shrine.
You can invent one.
It's just invisible. You don't see it, and it's like, oh, okay.
That's your dancing, staying there idle. Just like at the concert last Saturday.
No, man, I go crazy. I go crazy. Jumping up and down. But anyway, these disruptors still trying to get their shots off, doing what they can.
There's really not that many cannons, actually, now that I look at SOS's base. So DT drop. Oh! Every single time, SOS makes me believe like somehow he's going to blink a little bit too late.
Yeah.
It's almost as if
the last second.
You know, he doesn't have to wait that long, actually, to blink. No, he wants to tempt the devil.
Exactly. He's like, wait. Another disruptor coming down. Trying to get onto the Immortals. Ooh, good shot. Hardened Shields was not activated in time.
It's very disappointing that herO doesn't have a War Prism, because if he had one right now, he could send in a bunch of DTs across the map, drop them in the main of his opponents, and do a lot of damage. He's warping in DTs somewhere in the natural. Also, okay, he's just going to send them like this.
Where are they? Oh, okay. There's some adepts in a Warp Prism as well.
Oh, if he sends them in that base, he shouldn't send them into the third base because there is a cannon there.
They can't get around the rocks,
Oh, I think SOS might have spotted them. He's pulling back.
Yeah, he sees it. Oh, he blinked forwards.
Wow.
Oh, the disruptors. Oh, okay, they weren't in the right range. He blinked forwards onto that, and disruptors were there. Potentially could have got some shots off, but was not to be.
SOS is eagle eye, man. He misses nothing.
The observer just moved slightly into the fray. +3 weapons on the way here for SOS. And what are we on for herO? I guess just +2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going quite far forwards with just a small chunk of his army.
Okay, SOS is not going to make the same mistake as herO, by the way. He's got a War Prism already ready, has his Dark Shrine finishes, so if he warps in a bunch of DTs and drops them, this could be a deadly move here.
Dark Templars up to the top here for herO.
I can't believe he's forced herO to take this base.
It's it's not the best of positions.
So funny, like herO scouted the left-hand side, he saw double pylon, he's like, all right, I'm not even welcome on my side of the map. I'm going to take this aggressive force base and try to make something happen with some good disruptor shots.
Economies for the moment are pretty equal by the looks of things. SOS just teetering forward slightly because he has that healthy mining base up to the top. And now some Stalkers are going to kill off the pylons so you can actually expand over towards them. More disruptor shots come out. One disruptor going down. Another one will be sacrificed off.
Yeah, there is Mothership Core on that base down there, so with the double overcharge on these pylons, like, this should be an easy defense. Triple.
Focus him down. He's actually committing to this, is herO here. And
he didn't have that much energy.
Wait a minute. If he's in here, he's going to get sealed in just for a Nexus. Oh, disruptor! Oh, catches a few of them.
And this is the same thing that we saw earlier on Prion Terraces here. herO gets in there and says, you're going to have to come in here for multiple angles very quickly. Gets 2 more disruptors. He forces the mistakes out of SOS.
herO is trying to bait him in. He's trying to get the old tooth and nail. That's all this. This is really, really scary here for him. But at the same time, all of his army is almost trapped in. Disruptor's going to try and go for shots. Blinks forwards against all of that. Gets those down. Even activates the barrier on some of these Immortals. And now he's going to sacrifice a lot of Stalkers. But he blinks up onto the high ground with the aid of the Observer.
He might be trying
to keep himself done. I think he can lose everything. He didn't get the Nexus. Oh, okay, he needs to get in that. That would be really silly.
He's trapped, though. He's going to lose all of this. And herO is heading elsewhere with the rest of his army.
Army supply, it's still in favor of SOS, but his army's so far out of position here to deal with
disruptors.
If he got this base, that would be amazing. Barrier gets activated onto those Immortals, and more disruptor shots go off. He's got to be so careful, though. SOS doesn't have anything to buff for his disruptors there at the front, and he's actually going to target this Nexus down. If he gets this Nexus here, herO, and the army supplies stay as they do, and he does get it.
Look at the minerals of SOS. He's falling apart here. He's not macroing right now. He's not getting pylons. He's going to be supply blocked. And right now, herO is going to have his own 4th base.
This is insane. SOS right now has to make something happen with this army. Dark Templars are on the left-hand side actually killing off a few of these units, and there is a cannon there to actually deal with it. But he could get on some of the Stalkers Stalkers here. herO has to hold on against the biggest army he's going to
coming
face
in
this
from
game.
behind. hero's coming in from behind with a huge chunk of his army, the Disruptors and the Immortals, more importantly.
I don't think he has enough. He needs to hit some great detonations here with the Disruptors. He gets the Nexus, he backs on out, he's got his own Nexus on the way behind this.
Yeah, that's not enough Stalkers, I think, to get a snipe on this. So he's gonna have to get out of there. SOS with a double Nexus remake. And we're gonna be on 38 probes for SOS, 43 for herO, who starts, or I guess restarts the fourth base, and this time on the left-hand side.
How is herO going to buy time? It's going to have to be a lot of Disruptors laying down some siege on towards those locations, but this is a huge army from SOS.
Absolutely, yeah. It's gonna be really tough.
Oh, and he lost the Warp Prism over to the left-hand side. I mean, that's a small prize here for herO.
71 army supply for herO, 101 for SOS. Can he do it somehow? He's gonna need some big detonations, but right now, SOS is the one with a great position here. He's the one who could just go for that fourth base and get a cancel on it.
Stalkers are remaining up towards the top, blinking, get themselves a few probe
He's buying
kills.
time. He's still buying time.
Yeah.
The entire army is being pulled back.
He's luring
and these
it all the way.
Disruptors.
Goodbye, Disruptors.
Oh my God.
So how many did he lose?
This might
He's
just
only
be
got
game.
one left.
Yeah, he's killed everything. Like, this just killed so much supply. This might just be game. This might be a winning move here for SOS, who had anticipated this. He was so ballsy because if herO had blinked forward, he would have sniped all of these Disruptors and not lost any Stalkers.
Yeah.
Because that was all of the shot of the Disruptors, so he took a big gamble once again. And this one might have paid off with the series win here.
herO Stalkers actually caught themselves one Disruptor up the front. They're actually all leading the charge here, SOS's. So if he'd have been super careful about that, maybe he could have got more. But he doesn't want to take the chance, doesn't want to take the risk. He needs to replenish his Disruptor count completely. Oh, he's got only 2 against 7. This is going to be so hard for herO to come back against.
Double Observer here being added on for SOS. I think he might be starting to realize that herO might be getting desperate, in which case you go for DTs and try to steal the game away from your opponents. SOS does not want to let that happen.
Still Stalkers up towards the top. herO can't afford to lose any of those, really, as he needs every unit he can get. He's going to poke forwards with these Stalkers with the one Disruptor in the back.
herO is the one with double Disruptor production here right now, so he's going to catch up here in a second. He's going to get 2 more. He's going to go up to 4 against 7 here in a second, so somehow herO just doesn't die.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's possible, but
This is a great series, a fantastic series, and what a game to finish it off as well. Down towards the middle, it's just a slight trade going off here, but it's just Blink Stalkers for Blink Stalkers, really. He sees the Templar towards the middle.
yeah, there's so much action everywhere all the time. This is crazy. Like, this DT has been doing this dance for a very long time in the middle of the map, making sure he kept the vision as much as he could. And behind his Stalkers on the top right-hand side are still trying to find some room here to harass a little bit, but...
SOS's army is huge, though.
Yeah.
125 army supply in this.
Oh, he actually starts gravity boosters here.
He's going to get Disruptors. He needs to keep those alive. He's actually sacrificing some of the Stalkers to get one of them.
Yeah, it's worth it. You can just lose a very few Stalkers.
Where's that Dark Templar? He's gonna actually, whoa, Chef blinks across, but he actually blinks straight into the Stalkers here of SOS, and he loses them all.
If herO had sent a DT actually in that base, there is no detection, no cannon as well. Now he's gonna come down to this. SOS trying to force a big engagement here to try and get some good detonations. And the blink is used too late.
So much damage already being done. More Disruptor balls get sent forwards here. This is gonna be really, really bad for him. He almost bought a good position there to actually just focus down the Nexus, but this is a massive army still.
herO is trying to stay alive in this, but he's running out of Disruptor shots and he's running out of steam here.
Trying his best.
He might have just done it here.
He's in the driving seat. I mean, he's got double his opponent's army supply.
He's got less walkers. Like, if he gives herO any time, he could be in trouble, but I don't think he has any plan to do that. Like, in terms of army supply. We are almost doubled the army supply, Kailar.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no holding this, I think.
Mothership Core dive side as well there. He's actually going to lose a few of those Stalkers to the Purification Nova.
It's going to take some of the absolute best Disruptor shots here for herO. For him to come back in this game, can he do it?
Another one ends up sending forwards, but doesn't really do anything. He's just scared of these Disruptor shots, but realistically, he's got so much. The army supply is massively in favor here of SOS. Dark Templar on towards this base, though. He's actually shutting down some of the economy.
This might,
loses 2
good detonation. I don't think he's got too many left.
6 against 7. He's evened up the numbers. I can't believe he's evened up the numbers and taken down this Nexus as well.
If he wins this, like, he's To me, he's won the tournament.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Look, he's put the economy back in his favor as herO. I cannot
And
believe
SOS
this.
was not there to attack because he doesn't know exactly how many disruptors there are. So he traded those disruptor shots. He lost a little bit more and he's like, okay, I gotta slow down, I gotta pull back.
Yeah.
But can he really do that with one Nexus less than his opponent and less mining right now?
SOS is separating up his army a little bit. He needs to get that base, knowing that it's very, very important right now, considering he lost his Nexus to a deep tier. Oh, he loses more disruptors to the Purification Nova once again. Another one's going to come in there from SOS as he has really now smelt blood in the water. That is the perfect opportunity he gets the Immortals as well. SOS is truly going to power down this position. He loses a few units towards the back, but it does not matter. He found the key he needed to unlock this base, and SOS here powering on for the victory. He just needed that one connection and he got it in spades. That was great stuff there from SOS. GG, he takes the series. What a PvP to end off this best of 5. SOS makes it to the finals.
My prediction may be wrong, but you know what? I don't even care because StarCraft like this, I can watch all day, every day, Carlisle. That was a crazy series here, really back and forth. Even in that last game, you know, SOS ahead in supply, then a couple of disruptors, detonation, then it looks a little bit scarier, but somehow he found a way in the end to, I think it was really that big detonation up the ramp at the natural where he was like pulling back. I think he realized that herO was probably going to be knowing that SOS was pulling back, and what madman would leave the disruptors behind, send them in alone, load up the disruptor shots and try and land everything on his opponent's army. What madman? Well, this madman, apparently SOS, the mad scientist, the mathematician, he calculated right once again.
What a game. What a game there as SOS now moves on into the grand finals. He's going to be facing off against Byun, and considering that these two players form going into the grand final, this is going to be fantastic. Watching that series there and herO being toppled once again by SOS, herO has to think to himself, how does he beat this guy in these high-octane matches? But for now, guys, I believe we have our interview ready with the man himself. It's $sign over at the analysis desk.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Yes, we are joined on the desk by SOS and Susie, of course, as Pig. Hello, Pig.
Hello.
Good to have you here in Taipei, Pig. Susie, first question I want to ask to SOS. What is his thoughts on kind of this rivalry that him and herO have had over the last couple of years?
약간 라이벌리가 생겼잖아. 지금 준호랑 갔다 왔다 하니까 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각해?
게임이야?
응. 아니 게임이 아니라 이제 계속 IEM에서 만나고 갔다 왔다 하는데 진짜 라이벌리가 있다고 생각해?
우선 준호도 잘하고 저도 그래도 어느 정도 하는 선수기 때문에 상위 라운드로 올라가면 올라갈수록 붙을 수밖에 없는 운명인 것 같아요.
He thinks it's fate because they're both such good players. He's like, I know he's a very good player, but so am I. And so whenever we're in a tournament, anytime we get to the round of 4, it's fate that we will always play against each other.
And is it fate that he seems to always win when it matters?
하고 운명이야. 항상 중요할 때 유진 선수가 이긴다라는 게?
그거는 제가 운이 좀 많이 따라주는 것 같아요.
He thinks there's luck involved in it. He says that luck probably has followed him through some of this.
Okay. Pig?
All right. I mean, let's start off game 1 to the series, Orbital Shipyard. SOS went for a pylon block on herO's natural, and then he counterattacked with just a big pylon rush. Seemed to catch SOS by surprise. I just wanted to hear SOS's thoughts on why did that catch him off guard?
그 첫 번째 경기 때 이제 파일런 러시가 왔었잖아. 그때 당황했었는지요? 그때 느낌.
그때 제가 상대 선수가 저보다 그 코어 타이밍이 빨라가지고 눈치채고 있었는데 제가 실수로 두 번째 파일런을 안 올려서 제가 병력이 다 늦게 나와서 이거는 막아도 손해단 마인드였는데 생각보다 쉽게 막아서 괜찮았는데 제가 가서 유닛을 다 죽어주는 바람에 졌던 것 같아요.
He feels that actually he knew that the timing of the core herO was going to be faster than him, and he was like, well, you know, even if I try to stop this, I don't think I'm going to be able to. And then he made a mistake of not making his second pylon as well, and so he said that regardless, he knew he was going to lose that. As long as he's able to stop it, it should have been okay. But I mean, we know how that one went.
Yeah, it was a close one though. Of course, I wanted to ask about game 2 as well. Now that was a game where I feel like it got off to a really good start for herO. I felt like he had a nice lead, but SOS was just much more commanding in the disruptor battles. So I just wanted to ask your thoughts on what made you so confident with the disruptor fights then? Was it your counterattacks distracting herO? What's the secret to your disruptor micro?
이제 두 번째 경기에는 초반에는 준호 선수가 되게 유일하게 잘하고 있었던 것 같았었는데 이제 나중에 분열기들이 나와서 거기에서 갔다 왔다 싸움이 붙으면서 이제 유진 선수가 이겼었잖아. 거기에 대해서 왜 그거를 이겼다고 생각해?
우선 제가 연습할 때 분열기 싸움 해보니까 이거는 사람이 할 게 못 돼요. 그래가지고 멀티태스킹을 자기가 걸면 당하는 사람 입장에서는 아무리 손이 빨라도 한 군데는 좀 피해를 볼 수밖에 없는데 제가 게임 상황은 몰랐지만 주도권은 제가 잡고 있었기 때문에 승리했던 것 같아요.
Okay, he says controlling a disruptor is not something that a human can do. It's just really hard. So if you're on the side of avoiding the disruptor, then no matter how fast your hand moves, you're always going to miss something. And so he felt like if he was on the side of always constantly dishing that out, he would be on the better end, and he feels that he was able to do better that way.
Okay, yeah, power with the aggression and put the pressure on the opponent. All right, one last question then. The final game was absolute madness. I mean, it started off so well for you, SOS. You scouted the natural, you saw this very greedy build, and you started to punish it, but herO was very close to bringing it back. So I just want to hear about the emotional roller coaster that would have been that game when you're so close to winning, and then herO almost clinches it back.
그 마지막 경기 되게 갔다 왔다 많이 했었잖아. 그리고 처음에 이제 스카우트 들어가면서 되게 준호 선수가 욕심이 많다라고 알면서 했는데 이제 준호도 거의 이길 수도 있었는 상황이 많이 있었고 갔다 왔다 하는 그때 머릿속에 무슨 생각을 하고 있었는지.
제가 게임하면서 어떻게 해야 될지 상황은 다 알고 있었는데 마지막 경기고 분열기 싸움이다 보니까 정면 위에는 보면 무조건 질 것 같아가지고 그냥 멀티도 다 버리고 최대한 정면 병력만 집중했던 것 같아요.
He said last game, oh gosh, that was actually a lot. He came to a point where he realized that it's better for him to just not expand and just focus on his what's the word? Disruptors. I'm sorry. I know it in Korean. I was like, oh. He wants to focus on the disruptors and really play that game. And he realized he knew all the situations going into it. He said that he felt like he knew how things were going to play out. He just needed to focus on mainly those disruptors and play it out that way.
All right, final question. How did he feel when he got all those 6 disruptors up that ramp? Just near the end of that game.
그 분열기들을 6개를 다 램프 올라갔을 때 그때 느낌이 어땠었어?
제가 왠지 양방향으로 병력을 나누면 그래도 준호가 정면만 봐가지고 윗병력을 못 볼 것 같았어요. 그게 좀 주요했던 것 같아요.
He thought it was important because he felt that if he splits it, that herO's only facing forward and he was not going to be able to detect that he was coming from a different angle, and so that was very important for him.
All right, then. Final quick question then. Obviously looking forward about the grand finals. And just kind of an overall question with a couple of small ones about Bjorn. Is he worried about Bjorn? There's been a recent patch recently. How is he feeling? Is he confident? Maybe a disadvantage because Bjorn knew that he was going up against a Protoss no matter what and was waiting and ready?
오케이. 그러면 이제 변 선수랑 결승전에 들어갈 건데 그거에 대해서 좀 얘기해 달라고 하는데 뭐 걱정되는지 패치 때문에 걱정되는지 아니면 이 선수는 이제 프로토스를 만날 거라고 미리 아까부터 알았으니까 준비를 하고 있었을 거 아니야. 그래서 그런 것들에 대해서 좀 생각한 것들?
우선 패치는 제가 패치 되기 전에도 테란한테 많이 졌었어요. 그래서 패치는 그냥 그럴 것 같고.
He's lost a lot to Terran before the patch anyway, so he's like, that doesn't really matter to me anyway. 그러고
변 선수가 잘하기 때문에 저만 잘하면 멋진 경기 나올 수 있지 않을까 생각하고 있어요.
He thinks, I mean, Bjorn is a very good player, and so if he's able to play to his ability as well, he feels that some really awesome games will be able to unfold before us.
And is he feeling confident that that's going to be a victory, or is he a little bit worried?
뭐 조금 걱정되는 부분이 있는지 아니면은 뭐 당연히 결승 가서는 우승할 거라고 생각해?
그래도 좀 테란전이라서 불안하긴 한데 그래도 저는 항상 결승전에서 한 방이 있기 때문에 어느 정도 자신은 있어요.
He said, because I'm playing against Terran, I'm a little worried, yes, but I'm always really good at finals. So in that sense, I'm pretty confident.
All right, thank you very much, Susie. Thank you very much, SOS. And that does it for our second semi-final, which leads us to the grand final. That's just around the corner. Before we go to that, though, do make sure to check out plays.tv with the plugin. And if you get a highlight into the top 25, you may be on a sale. You'll get your ticket. Get yourself a ticket to the event in Katowice, the World Championship just around the corner. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is time for the grand finals.